Welcome to the Chinese cooking channel called Chinese Cooking Channel. Today we're going to make wonton soup noodles.
For this soup recipe, we'll be making homemade wonton dumplings and also homemade noodles.
So we're going to put 1 cup of all-purpose flour into a bowl. Then I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So just give that a good mix right there. Give that a good mix. So I'm going to beat, I'm going to put 1 egg into a bowl. And then I'm going to beat the egg before I put it into the flour. So just put that into the flour, just like that. Just mix it in. So the egg is fairly wet, so you don't need to put too much more liquid in there. So you put about a 1/4 cup of water. So just gradually add a 1/4 cup of water in there. So I like to use chopsticks. Chopsticks are good for mixing dough. So now you see the dough is looking slightly shaggy. So just add a little more water there. So just use your hand to mix the dough. So gradually the loose flour will be incorporated into the dough ball. So I'm going to add a tablespoon of tapioca starch. So this will give the dough more spring. So that's about a tablespoon of tapioca starch I put in there. So it'll be a little more chewy. So I think I'll add a little more water there. So it's been about a little over 3 minutes. So just form that into a ball. So we're just going to cover the dough like this.
Put the dough in the fridge for at least 1 day. If you want to leave the dough in the fridge for 2 or 3 days, just make sure you knead the dough at least once a day. Keep the dough covered when you put it in the fridge. Let's see what we have in the fridge to make the filling. So I found this pork chop. So just cut off the bone. We'll use it for the soup stock. Put the bone in a pot with 2 or 3 cups of water and boil for about 20 minutes. Cut up your pork chop into small pieces. Now you're ready to use your cleaver to chop up the pork chop into ground pork.
So put about 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there. Put about 1/2 teaspoon of sesame oil. Put a teaspoon of soy sauce. 1/2 cup of green onions. And a handful of cilantro.
You can save a step by buying ground pork from the supermarket. For the next step, just put an egg into the mixture and mix all the ingredients together. Spread a cloth on your counter, then put the cutting board on top of it. This keeps the cutting board from sliding. Now you're ready to roll out your dough. Cut the dough in half.
So this dough has been in the fridge for 3 days, so it's not very sticky anymore. So
roll the dough into 1 big sheet. Roll the dough from the middle to the outside. Add a little flour if the dough becomes sticky. Turn the sheet over a few times as you continue to roll the dough. When the dough is thin enough, you start cutting the wonton wrappers into squares.
So you can make maybe about 30 wonton using this technique.
If you want your wonton wrapper even thinner, just give it a good pull on each side. You can use a rolling pin to further stretch your wonton wrapper. Now it's time to put the filling into the wonton wrapper. Just put about a tablespoon or so. This is a simple way to fold a wonton. Just bring all the sides together and give the top a good twist. Then pinch to make sure the ingredients don't fall out. To make some noodles, we're going to use some leftover sheets of wonton wrappers. Just bang the strips of dough against the cutting board to stretch the dough. The noodles don't have to be the same length, and you can cut as much noodles as you like. Cut the noodles as thin or wide as you like. This is enough for one serving.
So you got the water boiling. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of salt into the water. Add about a teaspoon of cooking oil. So this prevents the noodles and the wonton from sticking. So I'm going to put the noodles in first. So just make sure you kind of spread it out so it doesn't stick. I think they're cooked by now. So it takes about anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes, I would say, depending on how thick your noodles are. So I like them kind of firm, al dente. Some people like the noodles more soft. So I think they're okay now.
Put the noodles into a bowl. Next, put the wonton into the boiling water. So when the wontons are floating to the top, they're ready to be served. The soup stock with the pork chop bone has finished boiling for about 20 minutes. Then you add half a teaspoon of chicken soup base. Add a teaspoon of light soy sauce. Pour the soup stock into the bowl. Then you add a handful of green onions. This will give a nice color to the wonton soup. And then add a dash of sesame oil for a little nice fragrance. There you have it, homemade wonton noodle soup. Enjoy.
Thanks for checking out my video. Please like, comment, and subscribe.